All right. So the topic of today's video is, how do demons get access to us? Like how can someone have a demon, right? So in this video, I have a few notes, mainly touching on three main points, three topics, and some tips on how demons get into your life, how you give demons access, ways like access to get into your life, and ways to avoid this, like ways to keep them from having access to your life. But I got some notes right here. And I start off by saying, we let demonic spirits in by what we listen to, the people that we hang around, the things that we say, the things that we watch, and what we practice, like daily and physically, right? These are all only a few ways that we unknowingly give demons access to our lives. But in the same way that we give these demons access, we can close off this access as well. By closing, and we do this by closing our spiritual gates. And so, in my experience in battling spirits for a little minute, there's two main ways that these demonic spirits can access your life. And the first one is visual, so by what you see, and is your eye gates. And the second one is by what you like, audio, like what you hear, your ear gates, right? But we'll start off with sight. So the devil gets many of us by what we see. And a good Bible verse on this, I'll put it across the screen, where it talks about the lust of your eye and the lust of your flesh. But our eyes are lustful, and when we see things, our minds are automatically like just by itself. We download that information, we process that information, and we download that information in our minds, which is what the devil is after. And so, if you're the type of person who sits on the phone all day, or if you're just on the phone scrolling, there's a high chance that the devil will try to get to you through the lust of your eye, right? These things would be like, you might see scrolling on IG and you see a whole bunch of women, like Jezebels. You might go on the hub, scary movies, and just filling your spirit with worldly immorality by the things that you see. Number two is the ear gates. This is by like what you hear, and probably the biggest ways that we give demonic spirits access to you, apart from the first one, right? And there's a verse that applies to this entire message, where it says we shouldn't partake in the pleasure or participate in the things that are ungodly. And I'll put that across the screen as well. But it's Ephesians 5. Next up, the devil gets so much of us through music, because music is so big in most of our lives. And at a time for me, it was a time where I couldn't even function without music, man. I couldn't even go to work without playing. Like, I couldn't even work at my job without playing my AirPod in or something. And like for you guys don't even start the car unless there's music playing. Like, homeboy in passenger seat you could be about to go to the hospital, and car don't even start until you turn that music on, right? But this just goes to show how big of a role music plays in our lives. Music has the power to prolong emotion, and we form deep connections to music because we can relate to it. So if you just went through a breakup and you played Juice WRLD, not always, but you could possibly be opening up the door for spirits of depression, sadness, regret. And if you play the sad music for months on end, you're prolonging that emotion, as I mentioned earlier. And this analogy goes for all music. It goes for rap music. It goes for R&B, blues, country, whatever the genre is. And also a small disclaimer: I do not believe that all music is bad. All music, you will get a spirit from it, but definitely there are some songs where you would. And I would just say, be careful to what you listen to. Be careful for what you relate to. Be careful for what you say and what you repeat in these songs. And that actually goes perfectly into my next topic, your vocal gate, or the things that you say, right? This happens after the devil has already got to you through the two previous gates, and after these things has festered in your heart and weighed on your mind. And a good Bible verse for this is, what's in your heart comes out your mouth, whatever the Bible verse is for that. And for it to come out of your mouth First, the devil has to make you believe it. He has to show you something, has to have told you something over and over again, to the point where you become desensitized to it, and you begin to say it out of your mouth. Say things like, I'm not good enough, or I am depressed, or I won't do that, or hey, I'm gonna give up on doing this. Man, sometimes the devil just wants you to stop what you're doing. He wants to come after your purpose. So let's say your girlfriend breaks up with you and you become depressed and you start playing Juice WRLD, Eargates, and then what he's saying really starts to resonate with you, and you watch one of his music videos and see that he takes a whole bunch of drugs inside of his music videos. You already probably have people around you taking drugs and all that, and so unconsciously you just gave yourself a solution to the pain that you feel in that moment. Now you know that that's going to help ease the pain by what you've seen in that music video. Obviously, if you're a strong-minded person, obviously if you're not very gullible, then this doesn't apply to everybody, but for some people it does. So you pop your first pill or you smoke your first blunt, and the excuse that you give yourself is, it's helping me with my depression, it's helping me get over this breakup, or whatever the case may be. And so this is how bondage starts. This is how the devil uses your gates to put something in your mind and then your heart, and then from that point on it becomes verbal. This is why the Bible says guard your heart, and that is why it is crucial that we say good things, and that we do not let evil that we don't let the evil that is inside of our hearts come out of our mouths, right? I go on to say, you could unknowingly speak curses over your life by the verbal gate, by letting the enemy enter into your verbal gate. This is also why a lot of servants of God don't cuss. This is why we don't cuss. This is why we try to say good things. There's a Bible verse that goes like, whatever is worthy of reference, whatever is holy, whatever is just. And I'll put that Bible verse over the screen. And so that's kind of like the main 3 points, the main 3 ways that an enemy can access you through your gates. But from here on out, I'm just going to tell you 3 more tips on how to protect your gates. And this is like things that will happen on a daily basis. I mean, it happens to me all the time, every single day, like literally every single day. If you have a job, if you go to work, if you do something where you have to be socially around other people, then this will happen to you probably daily. Number 1 is rejecting your flesh, the lust of your eye, and the world, and that you walk by the Spirit so that you do not gratify your flesh. Number 2, distance yourself from the world. You'll be able to spot worldly people, and you will be able to spot this person because they will try to make you become a friend with the world. They always try to pull you closer and closer and deeper into sin with them. They want you to sin with them, right? And lastly, ask God for your purpose and start eliminating distractions. So ask God to replace the worldly distractions. Well, replace your worldly desires with God's purpose, right? And yeah, that's basically it. If I missed any ways that the enemy access your gates, drop them down and listen down in the comment section below. And if this video was a blessing to you today, please like and subscribe. And that'll conclude today's video. Peace and blessings.